Hi guys, this is Lily Aronin, and I am here with one of my absolute favorite coaches, and her name is Andi Saitowitz, and I'm sure you've seen her on Facebook. If you haven't read her book, Rise and Shine, then it's definitely a recommended read. And I'm going to put this down so we can listen to it, and it's going to come out as a podcast as well, and we're going to have this chance to kind of have a conversation together, and you guys, I hope you will enjoy. Okay, so tell me about how life is going for you. I know we both have a lot of kids, and we both are coaches, so not only do we have our kids stuff going on, but of course our lives are also consumed with our clients and the people that we work with and our spouses and ourselves. So how are you doing?
So there's a beautiful saying that says, show me your schedule and I'll tell you what's important to you. And what I do with my clients, and I do this with myself as well, is I look at the wheel of my life and I look at the different aspects of my life, which is my marriage, my children, my friendships, my career, my health, my hobbies, my community, my personal interests and my growth. And what I do is I try to make sure that in my daily and weekly schedules, I've somehow managed to plug in space for everything. So there will always be, and I color coordinate it, so that I have a great visual tool in front of me that makes me see basically, okay, health is important to me. Is there time for health? Have I scheduled time for health every single day? If friendships are important to me, have I scheduled time with my friends? What I've noticed is that we have to start planning and managing our private lives, our personal lives, the same way that we manage our professional lives, the same way that you set meetings with clients and you schedule those coaching sessions and you stick to them. You have to schedule every aspect of your life the same way. And that's how I've managed to create a balance that works for me.
I love that, because actually it's so interesting, because everybody has their own thing that works for them. And for me, I love that philosophy, and I take that idea and I do it a little bit differently for myself, because I am like a very integrated person, and things for me only work when I'm doing something on multiple levels. So like when I'm working out in the morning, I'm doing it on the floor with my baby, and he beautiful. Loves it. But I actually, in my mind, not only am I getting my workout time, but I'm also actually getting time with him on the floor, because he loves it. He, from when he was 3 months old, I would lie him on a blanket and I would talk to him while I worked out. Amazing. And as he's a year, and doesn't matter if I'm doing country heat or I'm doing quarter force, he'll chase me around the room while I'm doing dance moves. And people are like, where'd you get to punch him or kick him or yoga? No, because you get a symmetry together. He knows where my leg's gonna go. He knows when I'm doing downward dog, he crawls right underneath me, and he comes. And when I'm doing a different pose, he'll come and give me a kiss. And when I'm doing country heat, sometimes he'll chase me around and like we're moving around the room. And
my kids tease me when I'm doing country heat. They're like, Mommy, this is what you look like when you're doing country heat.
And also with my other kids, and sometimes I schedule my workout for the afternoon, and I do it with one of my other kids, or they're watching, and that was a really big deal for me when my, starting this right after my baby was born, is when he was really little and sometimes he would cry, I would have to schedule it when one of my older kids was home, and I could say to them, hey, you guys, 30 minutes, you're gonna watch him. I'm going to do this. You can watch him, you can laugh, I don't care.
It's an amazing way to role model, and it's an amazing way to actually live your values, because your kids see you doing what's important to you.
Exactly. And so much of what I do is because I work from home so much, like if I have to make a new recipe, I have a choice. I can closet myself in the kitchen and put them in front of the television and say, okay, mommy's working now. Or I can let them be a part of it and say, okay, somebody else has to make this recipe. Their kids are going to be around. Why don't you help me? Tell me what you think. Be my tester and be involved in the process. And, there's obviously exceptions to that. You have bookkeeping, you have other stuff you have to do, and you have to do when it's quiet. But I find that integrating things works very well for me.
it also works very, very well in starting a new habit.
Yeah.
Because starting a new habit is really difficult. We beings of old habits, and our natural default is inertia, to keep doing what we've always done. And the best way to apply a new habit is to attach it to something that you're already doing. So if you're already mothering and parenting, and now you want to start training, like you say, you've managed to integrate the two, and it works for you.
And I think a lot of that actually happened because of what you're saying, because I was working from home since before I had kids. For a company in the United States, before I switched over and became a coach full-time, slowly, my core focus, also when you talk about, your schedule reflects your values, to me, it was very important for me. I get a lot of joy out of my kids. I'm not someone who wants to be in an office from 9 to 5, for sure, until they're out of the house. And that's not judging anyone else. I really enjoy being home with my baby. It's not that he's not in daycare center because I can't afford it or because of any other reason, except that I really enjoy that first year and a half with them. So again, like that's my priority, and so then everything else has to attach to those things. But I think it's something very valuable that people can listen to both of our things and see which one fits them more, because the only excuse not to live the life that you're enjoying is that you didn't bother to go and find what was going to make that happen for you.
Right. And I think even one step before that, to help people get started, is the clarity. Because I think we're not motivated to do anything if we're unclear what that is. So if you aren't willing to acknowledge that health and fitness, for example, is a core value to you, you're not going to know what that even looks like or means, and you're certainly not going to find a way to create a schedule that allows for you to make time for health and fitness. So I think the first step is just awareness, just actually knowing what is important to me, whether it's being at home, being with my children, working out. And then once I know what's important to me and those values are very, very clear for me, I can then create a schedule that works for me, and I can live those.
You know what I found when I started reading, I was reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I did another challenge. And one of the first things that they want you to do is to create your set of values. And they said that is the first time in the book that people close the book and walk away.
Yeah.
Why is it so difficult for us? And I'm telling you, I got to the same place. I got to that place in the book. It took me 2 weeks before I could have thought through to sit down. And they said it doesn't take that long. But actually, if you have been living day to day, it does take a long time to actually say, wait, what do you mean?
What's important to me?
What are my values? I have no idea anymore.
I'm
so overwhelmed.
I'll tell you why it's so difficult. From my experience working with such a diverse range of clients, I think first of all, our values are dynamic. They're constantly changing. So what was important to you 6 months ago may not be important to you today. That's the first challenge, that they are constantly changing. Unlike our needs are pretty consistent. I think the second thing is, once you acknowledge what your values are, you're accountable for living them. There's no way you can turn around and say health and fitness is so important to me, but I make no time to work out. I make no time to eat healthily. I make no time to rest and to look after my body. You can't have a clear value statement and then not live those values. So the minute you've acknowledged them and you've written them down and you've shared them with the world, you're obliged to live them if you want to be a person of integrity.
I think that's exactly it. I think also there's a guilt. Oh, wait, these have been my values and I haven't been living them. And I think also, especially around our children and our health, we feel like this sense of guilt that if I acknowledge that I haven't been doing the stuff I want to be doing, that the more that I want to live a long time for my kids, that's the amount of guilt that I feel for retroactively not having done it. And I think being willing to say none of that matters. There is no guilt for what I did before today. Today is my chance to set my values and move forward.
Absolutely. Our superpower as human beings is to say, at any given moment, I have the ability to change my mind. I have the ability to set new goals at any given moment. So if right now I've decided, right, this is it, but I have to really get to that threshold. And you're either going to get to that threshold by your pain or pleasure driving you. So It's either going to be so painful for you to stay looking and feeling how you look and how you feel, that you say, right, enough. What am I going to do about this? It is so unbearable, the pain. Or the pleasure of such an amazing vision of wanting and seeing and visualizing and feeling fit and strong and healthy and on top of all your fitness goals. That is so incredible that vision is pulling you towards it. So you will always stay where you are unless the pain of staying where you are is so awful, or the pleasure of achieving that new goal is so enticing.
I think that's 100% true, but then we always have the complication in that our pain and pleasures are always mixed up. We're so in pain from, let's say, not being in shape and feeling overweight and feeling like we want to go out and play with our kids and we want to go out and cook, but cooking takes us 3 hours because we're not energized while we're doing it, and so we're going slowly and we're not efficient, and so it takes us 3 hours where it could take us an hour and a half.
Well, I think that's the beauty of both of our professions, in that real change, real lasting and meaningful, effective change is holistic.
Yes.
So you can't just make a change in one tiny segment of your wheel and say, right, I'm focusing on fitness and that is not going to impact the rest of my life. It is going to impact your family life and your career and the other aspects of your life. And so we are holistic. And I think if we do take a more holistic approach to change, then we do have to work on values as a whole and goals as a whole and time management or high performance, efficiency as a whole.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I loved about your book, and for anybody, you could still get your book on Amazon, right?
Yeah, Amazon, Book Depository. There's actually a gift at the moment until Pesach of a free e-version. Although the real power in Rise and Shine is the journaling, is doing the exercises. And I always say, think in writing. If you've got a vision of your fitness goals or the things that you want to achieve, write it down. Don't just think about it. There is the research supporting journaling and writing down your goals is really powerful.
So how do you help your clients actually do that? Because, for example, in our sugar detox, I have people who've done the detox multiple times and never done a single journal entry that's recommended, and then they wonder why they've had change, but it hasn't lasted, and you haven't gotten all the way there. Or some people told me when they start journaling, they're scared of what they see. It's terrifying them. So how do you help your clients move through the process of, let's say they download your book?
Right. So first of all, there is accountability. And that is the beauty of working with a coach. I don't believe that we are meant to achieve anything by ourselves. I believe the commitment is something that we need to work on by ourselves, and the clarity is something that we need to work on by ourselves. We need to find that courage and that resilience to get started and to really want something that no one is going to give us. But the support and the hand-holding and the inspiration and the empowerment that we can get from the people around us, the people who've already done what we're trying to do, the people who have the right tools and the right expertise to give us what we need to help us achieve those goals. With my clients, I use a range of tools. So my background is in psychology. I use a lot of positive psychology and Adlerian psychology. I use a lot of NLP at the moment, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So I do offer my clients a wealth of tools when they are making changes. One of my favorite tools, which I've adapted in different personal development strategies that I work with, is the Hero's Journey model. And the Hero's Journey model...
I heard you give a fabulous lecture on that once, if you remember, at an empowerment seminar in Modi'in where we both spoke.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, where we both spoke.
So that model is an extremely powerful tool because it allows a person to first give themselves permission to change. Say, what I have done up until now was one thing. I now want to do something differently. If I want a different outcome, I have to do something different. So the first stage of the Hero's model, the Hero's Journey model, is leaving, where I actually give myself permission to make a change, to leave my current status quo. And it might be a physical change, a change in a habit. It might be just a change in a trait to become more of something or less of something. But the second stage is what I want to talk about, which is the kingdom of darkness. And in the kingdom of darkness, which is a natural and healthy stage of change, it's exactly that. It's overwhelming, it's scary, it's uncomfortable. It comes with a lot of unknowns. How do I move through this? I know I want to make a change. I know I want to lose weight. I know I want to feel stronger. I know I want to be healthier. But where do I begin? Where do I start? What does that mean? And in the kingdom of darkness, you get to do all the work we spoke about. Realign your values, reevaluate what's important to you, work on your vision on what does my future self look like when she is strong and fit and healthy and she's energized. What does she look like? What does her life look like? What is she accomplishing? What is she wearing? How is she speaking? What is her energy? And when I can see that amazing vision is what's going to help me start to create her, because I've got to make her by the new habits that I'm going to start living every single day. And in the hero's journey model, there's a stage of helpers. And your helpers are first and foremost physical. They are the people in my life that can help me achieve this goal and make this change. Whether it's someone like you, the programs, the Team Beachbody and all the amazing online programs that are so accessible. I mean, who would have thought? Whether it's working with on my nutrition, whether it's my time management and getting enough sleep, waking up, scheduling my workouts, people in my life that have already done the change. How can they support me? How can they guide me? What advice can they give me because they've already done it? I don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That's something I think that's so powerful, is on people understanding that you don't have to, it's not a secret what to do. You need to find someone who's doing it,
right,
and then duplicate what they're doing.
Right. But the bigger catch with helpers on the hero's journey is my metaphysical helpers, which are the things inside of me.
Yes.
Like my faith and my commitment and my consistency and my creativity and my resourcefulness. Those are things I don't have to buy from somewhere. I don't have to get them from anywhere. They are fully available to me at every single moment of every single day, should I choose to use them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think resourcefulness is a very important one. As we know, like, you know, when we do the workouts, everything else, so they say, like, all the tools are right here. Now, are you going to be resourceful? Mm-hmm. Like, how many people get the containers?
Yeah.
And don't use them for 3 months? And they're like, I'm working out every day. I'm eating really clean. I don't know why I'm not seeing the same result as she's seeing. Well, she's using the containers. Mm-hmm. Because that's what it's said to do, and that's what the other person who got those results was doing, and so that's what she's doing, and that's what I'm going to do. And I know even for myself, it takes time. Yeah. It's sometimes.
And those success groups, the online groups, they are such valuable helpers on a hero's journey, because they're people there going along this journey with me. Mm-hmm. They're people there who can inspire me. They've got advice, they've got tips, they've got motivational messages, they've got those gorgeous selfies. There's so much going on in that group that makes you really feel like I'm not by myself.
And I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really on a journey here.
Yeah. And the word hero is also, you know, so powerful here, because no one ever in all my experience has ever described a hero as someone who has an easy time.
True.
So a hero is someone definitely brave and courageous, and someone committed to enduring and thriving after something rather challenging. And journey implies that it takes time, that it's not quick.
Right.
So if we start to look at ourselves as heroes on journeys, and we say, how does a hero behave? How does a hero speak? How does a hero perform? When a hero has scheduled their 37-minute MMA 2.0 killer workout, they don't push their alarm onto snooze and say, okay, but I have no energy today. A hero says, I've scheduled my workout, I'm going to stick to my workout.
Right. Thank you so much, Andi. And you guys can get more from Andi at andisaitowitz.com.